Welcome to Fitness Knows No Age. We are here at Mission Fitness Center today with our personal trainer, Wendy Grace. Today we'll be doing upper and lower body exercises.
All right, so assuming we have warmed up for 10 minutes, don't forget to warm up. It's very important. We want to keep those joints lubricated. We would soon after get into a core exercise. Today we're just going to do a simple crunch on a ball. The reason we're picking a ball is we're thinking about 50s and over, so it's really important that we always think about using balance exercises as much as we can, as well as strength. Robert is going to go ahead and lie down on the ball, nice and flat. Perfect, good. So as you're doing the crunch, make sure that your hips are nice and stable and you're just thinking of curling the top part of your spine. So when you're doing these repetitions that we're performing today, you can stay anywhere between 10, 15, and 20 repetitions, especially for the first 3 to 4 months when you're just getting started. I would not do 3 sets right away. You want to give yourself at least 6 weeks before you start doing 3 sets. If you start with 3 sets the first day, you're not going to be able to walk the next day, which is not a good idea. I don't know about you, but I like to walk, right? So it is normal in the beginning to feel a little shaky. This is your muscles asking you what's going on. So as the muscle begins to get stronger, starts to adapt, the shakiness will go away, and then you can go ahead and incorporate that 3rd set. As you're doing the crunch, don't forget to breathe, right? And in between sets, once he gets his 10, 15 reps in, you want to make sure you rest for anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds is fine. Feel good?
Feels very good.
All right. So next we're going to get into his chest. So he'll actually sit back down on the ball. You could do a push-up on the floor. That's what we considered a non-stable environment. A stable environment. So we're going to introduce him to a non-stable environment to help affect his nervous system, to make sure that his stabilizers are kicking in, and it will also help strengthen the little tiny muscles around the shoulders, which is really important. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and roll out. Your head is going to be on the ball. Keep going a little more. There. And you want to think of yourself as a nice tabletop, so you want to get those hips up and stay there. That's where the balance comes in. So Robert's a little above average, so I'm going to start him off with 20s. Some true beginning men, I'll start them with 15s. If they're really strong, I'll go a little heavier. But you just want to make sure it's a weight that you can manage. As you do the chest press, first thing you want to do is throw your shoulders back and bring it up like a triangle. Bring it down to your base. Okay, don't forget to keep your hips up, nice and flared up. That's where the balance kicks in. See how he starts to shake? It's a good thing. That means he's forced to have to balance. So as you start to progress and become more advanced, the closer you bring your feet in together, the harder the exercise. The wider your feet, this is a good start right now. It's a little easier. You don't have to balance quite as much. Nice. Okay, so you can stop at 10 when you're ready. That looks great. Okay, that looks good, Robert. So the next exercise we'll perform is a squat. Let's give the audience a side view of your squat because you have a really nice squat. You want them to see your hips. So when you squat, perfect. You want to give yourself a shoulder width position. You want your toes to run the same as your knees. You don't want to go against it, going completely parallel. And as you squat, you're going to go ahead and press into the heels. And what I want you to watch is how nice Robert's hips come down. He's going to break 90 degrees and then comes back up. Okay, so break 90. That's nice. So his hips are pretty flexible, which is what we want. A lot of times I'll have my beginners get in front of a mirror because what we don't want you guys to do is to knock your knees in, which Robert is not doing. His form is pretty excellent. Okay, so when you get 10, we're going to challenge Robert with the balance, his favorite, right? Well, actually, I'll show step number 2 with the ball, the prop. So if I see that the client is doing wonderful, we'll add some weight to maybe challenge them a little bit more. Let's do another 10. So chest stays up, abs stays tight, breaking 90 degrees. You can also see with Robert that his knee falls behind the big toe. You never want the knees to shift forward. That's really bad on the knees. You have to learn to shift back as he's doing to help keep those knees nice and safe. Okay?
And how many weights is
This is 16 pounds. So there's 8-pound medicine balls, which I'll start the ladies off with. The men I'll start with 10 or the 16 pounds. If you don't have access to a ball, you can always use a dumbbell. So you can hold it, on the side like so. You can modify. Take a little breather, get ready for the balance. So in the balance, you'll find it really interesting how shaky his knees and ankles are going to get. He's a great squatter. He has a nice squat, but when you put him on balance, it's like, woo! But like I mentioned before, balancing is great for the nervous system, and we want to keep that balance as we age.
Where can you get these discs?
These you can find at any sporting goods store, Big Five. Sometimes I find them at Ross for super inexpensive. All right, so here we go. Same exercise. Okay, so he has his knees knocked in. Our goal is not to do that. Okay, so it takes him a few tries to catch himself, which, this is his, getting his brain and muscle-mind connection going on. This is normal. You just keep practicing. Think of using the center of your feet right there. That's the one. Good. Come on, take your time. That's awesome. As you're doing these, don't forget to suck in your belly button. Very nice. See, so now he kind of caught himself. He knows where he needs to go. That's good. So once, this is great for your ankles, your knees, nervous system. Good job. So if you want to play in the gym, you can do what we call a superset. You can do one set with heavy weight straight after go into a balance. You can do that back to back, 1, 2, or 3 rounds. Okay?
You have to work up to that.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, not a lot of people can superset right away. Get good at the balance first, right?
Yes.
So next we're going to move into the shoulders, standing on one foot because we are interested in balance. So 1 foot, you're just going to go overhead and bring it back down to ear level. So traditional, we would do 2, which is easier. You have a nice base. 1 foot helps affect your nervous system once again. So right now he's catching his shoulders and his triceps. He's activating his core, keeping it nice and tight. His ankles, see what's happening here? His ankles are really moving along with the knees, which will make them stronger. So single leg exercises are not only great for 50s plus, pretty much any age, but it's also great for athletes such as runners. Make sure that your stabilizers are getting nice and strong when you're running, so you don't end up twisting your ankle and hurting yourself or your knees as well.
I think, like most people, they don't really focus on balance when I'm working out.
Yeah. That's kind of the job of a trainer, is to introduce new things. If you always do the same thing every time you go to the gym, you're not going to burn as many calories, you're not going to be as strong. It's really important to change it up. Doing good. So we noticed earlier, the left side seems to perform better than the right, so there might be something might be off with your hips.
Can I take off my pants? What do you need? You done with 20?
Yeah. Okay. We need to do the back. We'll do another balance exercise. How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a single leg deadlift. Well, this is a cone actually, right? But a single leg deadlift is going to incorporate lower back, glutes, hamstring, once again, ankles and knees, balance. So what we're doing is we're going to tap it out. You're going to use what opposite foot, opposite hand. Nice long back. You're going to tap that and then come all the way up with good posture.
That's good.
Nice. Okay, you can do 6 to 10 of those and then switch off. Okay, so as you're doing this, make sure you complete it, right? You come all the way up. Yeah. So it's always a good idea to work out with a friend or a trainer, someone who can really watch how you're moving and correct you. Sometimes we think we're doing it right, but there's something just one notch off. You want those extra set of eyes. My husband corrects me all the time when we're training. I think I'm doing it right.
Yeah, that's important.
That's fine. Like I tell everyone, when we first start to do the cone touch, it can be frustrating because you are losing your balance and you feel out of control. Don't get frustrated, just take your time, just focus. Over time it will become better, okay? So we'll end off with the single arm row, which we get to do. This one here, upper back. We've trained the chest, shoulders. We've got to make sure that we're also getting the upper back, chest up a little bit. We're looking for a nice, long, straight back when you do a low row such as this. You're also going to help catch your biceps. That looks nice. You're drawing in your belly button, and you want to tuck your chin in slightly. Everything neutral. So as beginners, 10, 15, 20 reps, depending on your level, depending on the weight that you're using. This is 25s right now. Pretty good start.
I can feel it in my sciatica too.
Uh-oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's supposed to be, right?
Well, you just want to make sure that you're drawing on the belly button. Support that lower back. Just one more time. So chest up. A little more. Right there. Perfect. And pull straight back. So if you'll note how his chest is going towards the ground, this is what we want. That way you end up targeting that upper back. If your chest is too high up, you end up incorporating a little bit too much bicep. And we're concerned about making sure that his posture is getting nice and tall over time. That looks nice, Robert. Good job. High five.
That's it.
That's it. Those are basics.
We're going to do some personal stretching.
All right, so we just finished your workout. You're nice and warmed up. So the first stretch we're going to do is for your neck. So we're going to bring our arm behind our back, and you're going to press down. The reason we put our arm behind our back is to make sure that we're also stretching out the trap. Feel that in there?
Yes.
Stretches should be held 20 to 30 seconds. If you don't hold it at least 20 seconds, you're defeating the purpose of getting more flexible. Some people hold it for 5 seconds and they're like moving on. All right, let's do the other side. Press down. If you're interested in getting a deeper stretch, you can go into 3 different positions. So you have side, and then go ahead and look down. You feel a slightly different stretch. You hold that for about 20 seconds. Once you've held that for a while, go ahead and look all the way up, and you feel a slightly different stretch, a little deeper. Feel that?
Yes.
Good. So let's say if you have a sitting job, this is a great stretch to do behind your desk. That way you don't end up with what we call a forward head. You want to keep these extensors nice and flexible.
That's good exercise for office people.
Yeah. Next we're going to stretch out the shoulder. So pressing in. So all these stretches are good if you're stuck at work, and obviously they're great for after workouts so that you remain limber. And then the other side.
You don't have an accent, do you?
So the majority of people do have tight shoulders because we are behind a desk, so we tend to start looking like this. So this is why it's so important to stretch throughout the day.
Generally feel it.
Yeah, especially if you're tight. So to open up your chest, we're going to put your hands behind your neck. And you're going to push your elbows back as far as they'll go.
Grew up in the middle of it, with no accent.
It's a good stretch.
Thanks, you too.
So a lot of times we end up with a bad posture because the chest muscles start to pull us forward. So it's important to keep this flexible. You want to stretch your chest every day.
I can feel it in my back too.
If it's tight, yeah. And then speaking of back, this one's what we call a cat stretch. So your hands go in front and you just push forward. This one always feels really good. I like to draw in and, like a cat, how they round off their back. It's nice. This will also help stretch out your lats. Okay, so next stretch is for the hip. If you don't have the balance, you can hold on to the wall or a chair. If you do have the balance, then you can just cross out. And what you do is you have a seat, and you're going to press down on your knee. You'll feel that hip stretching out. So once again, if you have a sitting job, or if you find that you just sit a lot in general, you have to have flexible hips. If you don't have, if these muscles get tight, you're going to have a tendency of having lower back issues because it's going to throw your body off.
This is a good stretch.
Yeah. And it's simple. You can literally do this at work and do it in between commercials if you're watching TV. Nothing too complex. So you drop the hips and you add pressure, pressing down. If you've had hip surgery, this is not a good stretch to do. You are not supposed to cross out the weight like in this position. But if you've never had surgery, then this is totally a safe stretch to do. So it's also good to know what stretches you shouldn't do if you've had previous injuries. And then you can hold on still and get your quadricep. Real basic, you're just pulling straight back. So I see a lot of people, they cross it out. We're not supposed to do it against our knees, so don't cross out. You just want to pull straight back. You don't want to fight against how your body naturally runs. Okay, and then you can do the other side when you're ready. These are just really simple stretches. Nothing fancy. Okay, and then final stretch, calf stretch. Everybody knows that.
I have my trusty water with me. Be sure you finish your water bottle at the end of your workout. Water is very important.
So basic calf stretch. Back foot should be nice and parallel. And you're pressing down into the heel. So this is going to catch the larger muscle, the gastrocnemius. It's important to have flexible calves because it will help eliminate knee pain, especially if you're going to squat that day. So do your stretches on an everyday basis is really what you should be looking at. I once heard that for every one day that you don't stretch, you lose 3 days worth of flexibility. So stretching is important and it will help prevent injury.
I love to stretch.
Stretching, that's the best part of the workout.
It is. It is.
And once again, every stretch should be held 20 to 30 seconds to get the best benefit out of stretching. Anything less, you're not going to get the benefit. Okay, that's it, real simple.